Hey, good morning guys. Today I wanted to do a quick reteach and go over your homework from last night, page 363. We're going to start with the guided practice. The first one, they're asking you which of the following are less than 8. So which of the following, when multiplied, we give you a product that's less than 8. Okay? They're asking you to circle them. It didn't say circle, but that's what they did in the book. So, if we're looking at this first one, this incorporates everything we need to know for the lesson. It's either going to be a fraction that is greater than 1 or a fraction that is less than 1. So 9/10 is less than 1, right? Because 10/10 would give you 1. So it's very close to being 1. But yet and still, when we multiply it by 8, you're going to get a product that's less than 8. Anytime you multiply a whole number by a fraction, that number is going to get smaller. So this answer would give you something that is less than 8. And this marker is done. This will give you one that is less than 8. Now this one is a fraction. We're multiplying by a fraction that is greater than 1. How do we know that? Because the numerator is bigger than the denominator, right? 6/6 would be 1, so 7/6 is more than 1. Okay, it's actually a mixed number written as an improper, right? We know how to convert improper to mixed. So anytime you're multiplying by an improper fraction or a mixed number, that means this is going to be greater. So no, this wouldn't give you an answer less than 8. It's going to give you an answer that's more than 8. This one, same thing, it's a fraction that is less than, right? 3/5 is not quite 5/5. So that means when you multiply by 8, your answer is going to be smaller than 8. So this one would work as well, okay? This is the only question where they ask you to do it like this, besides when you get to numbers 18, 19, 20, and 21, when you have to put them in order. It's kind of the same deal. Okay, the rest of them, and I'm going to use these as examples to show you that there's no difference in what you're doing on 2 than the rest of them, is they'll have a greater than or less than or equal to square here, and they're going to write the same number on this side. You know how we were just comparing everything to 8? That's the same thing we're doing here. Everything's compared to 8, right? So 8 times 9/10 is going to give you an answer that is less than 8. 8 times 7/6 is going to give you an answer that's greater than 8. And 3/5 times 8 is going to give you an answer that's less than 8. That's it, guys. It's the same thing we're doing. We're comparing it to one number. You're always going to have the same number on both sides multiplied by a fraction. Sometimes that fraction will be greater than 1. Sometimes that fraction will be less than 1. Okay? For instance, number 3. 2 2/3 on both sides. And we're multiplying this side by 3 1/2. So if you multiply something by 3 1/2, that means that number is going to get a lot bigger, right? We know alone, just looking at the whole numbers, 2 times 3 would give us 6. So you know our answer is going to be greater than 6 on this side. So in this case, this side is going to get bigger. Okay? And remember, the greater than, less than, or equal to sign, it's always going to be, and I would do this with my 3rd graders, right? This is an alligator. Alligator mouth is always open to the bigger side, the greedy gator. Okay, so this number is going to be bigger, so that's the opening side, right? Second, or actually number 4, you got it practice. 2 2/3 is on both sides. So what determines our answer is going to be what we're multiplying by on this side. Is this going to make 2 2/3 get bigger or smaller? 4/5 is less than 1, so that means this side is going to get smaller. So that means 2 2/3 is going to be greater than 2 2/3 when you multiply it by 4/5. Because this side is going to get smaller. Number 8, I wanted to include because it's different in the fact that they kind of flip it. It doesn't really matter which side we're talking about, guys. It's still the same thing. You're comparing this side to this side. Now, this side only has one number. This side has 2 numbers. But it's no difference. 1 2/7 is on both sides. And we're saying, if I multiply this side by 5/5, what's going to happen? Well, 5/5 happens to be equal to, you guessed it, 1, right? This is the same thing as 1 when the numerator is the same as the denominator. So when you multiply that by 1 2/7, you're going to get 1 2/7. So these sides are going to be equal. Okay? And you'll run into several answers that are equal on your homework. Okay? Quick review of, so you can check your work. Guys, remember, you have to make sure you're staying on track because quiz time coming, test time coming. You got to know what you're doing. So I'm gonna go down this first column, 6, 9, 12, 15. So for number 6, the first part is going to be greater than the second part. For number 9, the first part is going to be less than the second part. 12, less than. And 15 is also going to be less than. Okay? If you have any questions over a number, you can mention it in the comments, and maybe we can go over it on tomorrow's review. Good luck, guys. Make sure you're staying on track and doing your work on a daily basis. You don't want to get behind. It's going to make things difficult.